What if I told you that the most thrilling match of the FIFA World Cup 2026 group stages ended without a single goal being scored? Yes, you heard that right. 0-0. But before you scroll away thinking this was a boring stalemate, stop right there. What happened at the Miami Stadium today was not just a football match, it was a psychological war. It was a masterclass in tactical survival. It was the unstoppable, explosive coffee power of Colombia colliding head-on with the cold, calculating European technique of Portugal. Welcome back to Total Football Nexus. If you think football is only about goals, today's story will completely change your mind. Let us dive deep into the unseen drama of this Group K decider. Picture the scene: Miami Stadium, the Florida heat beating down. For millions of fans across the world, it was an early morning alarm, a 5 a.m. kickoff that demanded absolute devotion. The stakes? Group dominance. The atmosphere? Absolutely electric. Colombia, riding high on their relentless attacking philosophy, marched onto the pitch with a highly aggressive 4-1-2-3 formation. They were not there to sit back. With the lightning-fast Luis Diaz and the powerhouse John Cordoba leading the charge, their intention was clear: destroy the Portuguese defense. But Portugal, a team built on legacy, structure, and the towering aura of Cristiano Ronaldo, had a different script in mind. They set up in their trusted 4-2-3-1 system. Ronaldo was the lone predator up top, with the creative geniuses of Bruno Fernandes and João Felix acting as his supply line. It was chaos versus control. Which one would break first? From the very first whistle, the game exploded into a frantic pace. There was no feeling out process, no cautious passing around the back. Both teams threw punches like heavyweight boxers in the first round. Colombia pressed high, trying to suffocate Portugal, while the Europeans looked to spring lethal counterattacks through the middle. Every tackle was met with a roar. Every misplaced pass drew a gasp from the crowd. The tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. And then the 30th minute arrived. The stadium held its breath. A sudden clash in the penalty area. The Colombian players swarmed the referee, arms raised, screaming for a foul. Was it a penalty? Was this the moment the deadlock would break? The referee paused, touching his earpiece. The dreaded VAR review. For 2 agonizing minutes, the game stopped. You could see the anxiety in the eyes of the defenders, the desperate hope on the faces of the attackers. The psychological weight of that moment was crushing. But the decision came down. No penalty. Play on. You could almost feel the wind getting knocked out of the Colombian sails, but they refused to surrender. As the clock ticked toward halftime, the physical toll of this high-speed chess match started to show. Portugal's manager realized that surviving the Colombian storm required fresh legs and a tactical tweak. In a bold move right before the break, he pulled off João Cancelo and Ruben Neves, throwing Diogo Dalot and João Neves into the fire. It was a massive gamble. Changing your defensive structure just before halftime is incredibly risky, but the whistle blew and the scoreboard remained a stubborn 0-0. The first half was a breathless roller coaster, but the real test of endurance, the ultimate battle of nerves, was yet to come in the second half. What happens when 2 giants refuse to blink? We are about to find out. The second half began, and the air in the Miami Stadium felt heavy. The initial adrenaline had worn off, and now it was a test of pure mental fortitude. Who would make the first fatal mistake? Who would crack under the immense pressure? The game settled into a brutal, grinding rhythm. By the 59th minute, Colombia decided they needed a new spark. The manager looked to his bench and unleashed Richard Rios and Luis Suarez. The message was clear: we are not playing for a draw. We want all 3 points. We want to conquer the group. But Portugal is a team that thrives under pressure. 10 minutes later, in the 69th minute, they responded with their own tactical masterstroke. The explosive Rafael Leao and the dynamic Samu Costa were introduced, replacing João Felix and Vitinha. The battlefield had been reset. New soldiers, same objective. What followed was an absolute defensive clinic from both sides. We constantly praise attackers, but what we witnessed in this second half was the dark art of defending at its absolute finest. Luis Diaz kept trying to weave his magic on the wings, throwing feints and step-overs, but the Portuguese backline stood like an impenetrable iron wall. On the other end, Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the greatest goal scorers in human history, prowled the penalty box looking for just 1 inch of space, just one mistake. But the Colombian defense, playing with the heart and passion their nation is known for, gave him absolutely nothing. It was a beautiful, frustrating, mesmerizing stalemate, two unstoppable forces realizing they were facing immovable objects. As the match entered the final 5 minutes, desperation took over. In the 85th minute, the tension finally boiled over as Colombia's Gustavo Puerta committed a cynical foul to stop a dangerous counterattack, earning himself a harsh yellow card. The clock hit 90 minutes. We were deep into injury time. The fans were biting their nails. And then, history almost repeated itself. Another massive collision, another frantic appeal. The referee signaled to the VAR room one more time. The entire stadium fell into dead silence. Was this it? A penalty in the dying seconds? A heartbreaking twist at the very end of the story? The seconds felt like hours. Players from both sides looked up at the giant screens, their World Cup dreams hanging in the balance. The referee listened, nodded, and waved play on. The relief from the Portuguese fans echoed through the stands, perfectly matched by the collective groan of the Colombians. Moments later, the final whistle pierced the Florida air. 0-0. But as the players collapsed on the pitch, exhausted but proud, the reality of the situation set in. This draw was a victory in disguise for both nations. Colombia, with their breathtaking brand of football, officially crowned themselves the champions of Group K, marching directly into the knockout stages. And Portugal, their defensive resilience ensured they also punched their ticket to the next round. No goals, but maximum drama and, most importantly, survival. They both lived to fight another day on the grandest stage of them all. Football is not always about the ball hitting the back of the net. Sometimes the most beautiful stories are written in the struggles, the tackles, and the unbreakable spirits of the players. If you felt the passion and the intensity of this incredible World Cup clash, and if you want to keep diving deep into the tactical and psychological side of the beautiful game with Total Football Nexus, make sure to like this video. Drop a comment below telling me who you think will go further in this tournament, Colombia or Portugal. Share this breakdown with your football-crazy friends, and please hit that subscribe button to join our amazing community. Your support means everything. See you in the next video.